Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum once again. Now the second part of this video. Here we need to discuss the part A. In fact, discussion about the principle of IFRS 15 related to performance obligation, either distinct or not. Number two, revenue recognition at a point of time. Okay, this is what about the question. Okay, this is what about the question. Jesse company, service provider. Actually, the license, a service provider based on the license services. Okay, so apparently there are two things considerable here. Number one, the first thing is data being collected, data processing, data collection, data collected, process, presentation and report. That is the first thing. And then granting of the license. And then granting of the license. So now, how to draft the answer? I know that initially it's a very clear that is this the distinct performance obligation or not? Very clear, this is not a distinct performance obligation. But the point is that there are 8 marks. There are 8 marks here to write the things. And it is also very obvious that the revenue recognized at one point of time. So it's very clear. But if we just write thing that performance obligation must be, it's not the distinct performance obligation, it's one performance obligation, and number two, revenue should be recognized at one point of time. This is not enough to catch the marks. Actual point is that we have to learn how to write the answer, how to draft the answer. So first thing is that plan your answer. Second thing is that apply the knowledge and connect with the case. So during the reading phase, we have planned the things, but I will emphasize more aspects accordingly. Now, exam practice. Question number 2, September, December 22, and the question name, Jesse. Now come on. The first important thing, plan your answer. And for planning, some important thing you need to consider. Number 1, time management and the marks management. What about the time management? The golden rule, 180 minutes you have over 100, that is equal to 1.8 minutes for each mark. Here, with this question, 8 marks multiplied by 1.8, that is 14 minutes. Plan, you need to plan for 2 minutes. 20%. 20% means approx 3 minutes. And execution 11 minutes. Now the marks management. Here the total marks 8 marks. So for 8 marks, broader in a broader context, what you must have to write, what to write, or what to answer, or I must say, what are the key points. I must say the very important thing. This is the question about IFRS 15 principles and application. This is a question of IFRS 15 principle and applications. IFRS 15 principles and applications. So with respect to the marking scheme, you will be able to get marks about the writing of principle and connect with the case. First of all, examiner expect you have to mention IFRS 15 principles, and definitely the principles related to what? That's complications of performance obligation, distinct point. Whenever we are discussing the point that either the performance obligation here distinct or not, first of all we need to consider either it's become distinct, different, reflecting different services, are are or are qualifying the conditions of distinct. If they are not qualifying the conditions of distinct, so we will consider the performance obligation as a single performance obligation. So first of all, if with the case having different services, like with the case here, the data processing is one and the granting of license is separate, another one. If these two services are not qualifying for the rule of distinct performance obligation, automatically it will be considered as single performance obligation. So you have to write the things accordingly, that these services of data processing and the granting license are not distinct because they are not qualifying the above distinct principles. What are the principles? Number one, you have to mention capable of being distinct. The first thing, you have to write it. Number two, distinct with the context of customer. Sorry, with the context of contract. Capable of being distinct with respect to the customer, that customer can buy the contract. Customer can buy the contract with their choice. That's not affecting the future benefit of the customer with different categories of the products. Number one. Plus, seller is also able to make distinct. So capable of being distinct with respect to customer, distinct with the context of customer, that is point with viewpoint of the seller. But here the type of contract are very clear that customer cannot buy the contract in isolation, independently licensed, independently data processing, or seller cannot sell the services independently. In fact, here we will discuss a complex matter, the rule of integrated and interrelated. The services are Integrated, either the services are integrated or interrelated. If the services are interrelated or integrated, interrelated means or integrated means they are work together. I'm not complicating the case here. So first of all, we have to consider the point in this manner. IFRS 15 principal performance obligation. This is a drafting technique that we need to connect with. We need to first write the principle and connect with the case. Yes. Second point is revenue recognition. That is the step 5. At one point of time. At one point of time. Can you please reply me? Is that clear till now? That is what about the planning aspect. Now this is what the suggested answer. Suggested answer. That is student caliber and craft. It's not just exact the copy paste of the model answer. It's a suggested answer means a answer prepared by me or craft by me for the student or like a student caliber. Okay, can you please read this? Okay, sorry. Okay, read it carefully. Read it carefully. Read once. Okay, I'm going to read with you. Listen. Number 1, performance obligation. Under IFRS 15, first, the performance obligation is a promise to transfer distinct goods and services to the customer. Very simple. And you will mention this is what the basics of IFRS 15. Just the principle. First, you have to first make a plan, then write the principle. At contract inception, entity means seller should assess whether good or services is distinct and need to filter out the goods and services is distinct if both the criteria met. Number 1, capable of being distinct. Number 2, distinct with the context of contract. So capable of distinct means the customer will be able to purchase the goods independently, means goods are not interdependent or the services are not interdependent. And distinct with the context of contract, that means seller can sell the service independently. And you mentioned that if goods and services are distinct, then the performance obligation then the reporting entity must split the performance obligation. If not, then consider one single performance obligation. It's very simple. But you need to consider, or you not need to incorporate one more thing. For complex issues, you need to consider that the different services or the goods are interrelated, which means, integrated means these are the things that need to do step by step. That first step, it's important or compulsory for to move towards the second step. That's called integrated. Or we can say either they are interrelated. Interrelated means they are highly interdependent to each other. If the goods or the goods and services are integrated or interrelated, that's also very clear that this is a single performance obligation. So first of all, you have to present the knowledge of the case. Then you will apply the case. Here the case about. And then apply. The license here provide to customer relies on data collected and processed. So two things, license and data collected during the course of service phase, and the data and processing have no use or no relevance without license. That means they are interrelated or integrated. So the license and data services are highly interrelated or integrated, interdependent or highly interrelated. Any service phase component does not have significant value. So customer of Jesse company contract combined of the goods services includes the surveys data. That's combine the services, not the goods. Combine services includes survey data, processing, granting of license. All are compulsory for each other. They are not a separate performance obligation, but they are input to combine item. That means they are integrated. So the point is not that how quickly we just say that that's distinct or not. The important point is that how to draft the answer to catch the marks. Till now you are able to get 6 marks. 3 marks related to principles. These principles. Almost 2 to 3 marks related to application. Now, last point. When to recognize revenue? Furthermore, there is no add value customer before survey is completed. Yes. As it cannot process data by itself or obtain license. The customer cannot process the data before the final work is complete. So license does not form part of separate performance obligation. Both the survey is complete, customer have access through presentation and reports, but at this stage, no granting of license. Once license has been granted, no further analysis by the Jesse. Consequently, revenue should be recognized at a point in time when license is granted or when contract existed as a single performance obligation. We can add on more points, but this is more than enough. What more points, sir? For example, we can discuss why not. Why not? It's about the performance obligation on a step-by-step basis, like the stage of completions. Why it's at one point of time, but it's more than enough. So this is what about this part of the question of IFRS 15. Can you please reply me? Is this clear to all of you? It's not over the time. Over the time conditions are the different, and at the point of the time conditions are different. So thank you very much for this part of the video. Wait for the next part where we will discuss the ethical issues of the particular scenario. Thank you.